Part of my job is to develop that trust. Of course, you'd have to let me in first. Yeah, I'll let you in, alright. Bends over. Hello, and welcome to Chapter 2 of To Kill Eros. This is a BL dating sim in which you have always been unlucky in love. Thus, you blame Eros, the god of love, and you set out to kill him. And along the way, you meet 3 absolutely gorgeous men, but you better be careful and make the right choices. Because if you don't, bad endings and strange happenings are just around the corner. Let's get started. Okay, we're gonna start with Dr. Love's Chapter 2 first. So last time we had just run into Handy outside of his bar, and we have the choice to pick either a positive or negative choice. The choices basically ended there, with one of them being a death end, so I'm gonna do both of them and then we'll go from there. What? What do you want from me? I'm sorry, I was in a bad mood that day and it wasn't good. Asher can get really scary, but happy to see you alive. Okay, positive or negative influence? We'll do positive first, I think. Honestly, it was hard to hear him say that and simply take it in. Don't worry, I'm very good at taking things. But it was what I wanted so badly from him. Some inkling of care, no matter how small it might have been. We couldn't have had a relationship for 8 months in which he didn't give a shit about me at all. I guess I can understand. Asher kinda scared the shit out of both of us. Yeah, he and I have a complicated history. So answer me this. Is it true that the two of you were still dating even when we were together? Yes, there's a reason for that. I want to tell you, but my shift. Man, you know what? You should have broke it off. Or you should never have gotten with me in the first place. I didn't enjoy the idea of having our conversation cut after I asked an important question. But I understood the circumstances weren't exactly favorable to him anyway. The only reason I tried to duck so early was because of him, so I'll stay for a while. No! We can talk when your shift's over. It was 2 AM when the two of us came out of the bar. I let him into my car. My mood had largely lightened. Watching Handy and the other bartenders talk gave me some peace of mind for a bit. Right. So, you asked why me and Asher were still dating earlier. Surprised I'm not the one having to bring it back up. It was something I always wanted to tell you. It's just hard, you know? Well, then we shouldn't have been dating. I don't, but I'll give you a bone. Asher was my first ever boyfriend, and before that we were best friends. I care about him. And? Sounds like there's more to it. Let's just say our forms of care aren't the same. I care about him and, well, he loves me. Oh. It seemed to hit a little close to home. I kind of understood being in that position, but there was no rewriting the arsehole that Asher revealed himself to be. I only dated him because he was going through a rough patch. I just broken up with someone myself, figured we could help each other. And that went horribly wrong how? He gets super clingy and insecure over every little thing I did. It was suffocating. One day he exploded a little and I started fearing him after that. So you're stuck with him. Why not get the police involved? Man, he's still my best friend. I don't want to do something as drastic as putting him behind bars. A restraining order. He'll violate it for sure. Guess you're in a really messed up situation here. If you're scared now, then is it really worth sticking by his side? There was no way around it. He needed to put him away or be stuck with him. He was dangerous. And to be honest, Hendy was even crazier for trying to protect him at this point. I can't say for sure if I'd have given up on him if I were in his shoes though. As someone who handles my shit the best I can, and not always the best for others, I could understand needing someone to accept your imperfections. I desperately want that, but Asher, I wasn't sure if he just didn't have a lid on himself properly or simply didn't care about right or wrong. He wasn't drunk or high when he chased after me with that bat. He was completely sober. That was a coherent choice. Or so it appeared. I still care about him. I don't want to ruin his life. What, so you're gonna be fake in love with him forever? But you intend to bring me into the life you two have. You saw how he reacted to that, right? I didn't forget that he said that you've done this before. It was a one-off sentence, but I held on to it. The two had a history with Hendy cheating, which made me wonder if I could fully believe his side of the story. I wanted to trust him. I don't, but Hendy always had a way about him that sometimes made me feel disgusted with myself, like I was in the wrong when we had our disputes. I'm looking for an escape, and I know our relationship hasn't always been peaches and cream too, but I feel strongly about you, Melrose. You feel strongly, not love. I've never been comfortable saying that to people. But if you want to take what I said that way, then sure. Ew, you are such a red flag. Honestly, I'd rather hear you say it. Aren't my actions enough? What actions? You barely done anything. You stood aside to let your freaking boyfriend kill me. Are they? We fell silent for the rest of the ride. He couldn't find the words to say to me after that. I drove into the alley where his apartment was. He never took the front entrance and always walked up the raggedy stairs. When I ran down them, it was the first time I'd ever been scared shitless about that. I'll let you off here. Don't want to spend the night? Your place still freaks me out. It won't be like last time. Come on. He'd gotten out of the car, standing off to the side, waiting for me to get out too. Gotta get over my fears somehow. No, go home! I sighed and turned off the car. And just as I was about to get out, my phone started ringing. Huh? Looking at the caller ID, I realized it was Dr. Love. I felt conflicted given I dodged him. He was likely calling about the missed appointment. I let it go to voicemail, probably warning us. Not like I needed the session anyway. Hendy and I were trying to make something work again after all. I opened the door and stepped outside to find Hendy staring, as if he'd seen a ghost from the other side of the car. What? What's wrong? Behind you! I swerved around and Asher tackled me at the same time. There's no way he'd been there the whole time and Hendy didn't bother to tell me. Didn't bother to say a word. Had I known, I wouldn't have gotten out of the car at all. Hendy, you piece of shit! He'd been hiding somewhere quietly. Had to. Get off me! Oh no. I think this is the part where I die. You just don't listen, do ya? Not that it matters now. He brought a knife down close to my face, but I grabbed his wrist. The two of us struggled over the seats, my back strained from the uncomfortable position. Hendy, are you gonna do something? Are you gonna pull your boyfriend off me? Ash's strength was out of this world, and his sinister laugh increased as the blade came closer to my stomach. Crap! Hendy! Hendy! Help me! You think he's gonna save you? He's freaking gone. Piece of shit! Nobody's coming for your ass. At the risk of being killed, your boyfriend was coming for my ass. He summoned enough strength to plunge the knife down into my gut. Great! My grip on him slipped, and twisting the knife, he stabbed me again. The pure malice on his face showed that he'd go for the kill again. I anticipated that he would release all that pent-up rage inside of him on me. The pain was too much for me to resist. My mouth was already pooling with the taste of iron, and I could hardly breathe. No more strikes came after. Instead, I felt Asher being yanked off of me, followed by the sound of something splattering on the concrete. My vision blurred and wavered. The air grew colder. Help! I felt a hand touch my face and caress my cheek with its warmth, until everything faded away. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Rose. Who was that? So, I think we should choose a negative influence. Let's go back here and tell Hendy to piss off. I felt like vomiting. What was the purpose of telling me this right now? I was trying to forget him. Besides, Ash is still in his life. It would be crazy to hope to rekindle anything with him. Not after hearing how he felt about me. I couldn't do this again. Are you done? No, Rose. Yeah, I'm done. Good night then. I opened my car door and got inside. Hendy lingered outside the bar until I pulled off and began heading home. Or at least that was the intention. I did a U-turn to head back down to the apartments, but as I drove close to the sidewalk... What the hell? Why are you still here? Shatter. A metal bat collided with my windshield, cracking the glass. Reflexively, I let go of the wheel to guard my face, foot still on the pedal, and... crash. What the heck? Cosmere City, Oak Hospital, 12 AM. Opening my eyes again was like waking up from a long dream. The room was chilly and the indiscreet sound of the television bounced off the hospital walls. I absolutely hated being here. It wasn't my home, and because of that, the loneliness set in worse. My eyes roamed down to my left arm wrapped in a sling, likely broken or sprained. I tried replaying the night to remember what led to this, but my head hurt too much to think. I'd definitely been in an accident for sure. Sighing, I closed my eyes, only to open them seconds after the door to my room opened. In walked a man I didn't recognize until my eyes adjusted. Hi. Hi, doctor. Oh, you woken up. What are you doing here? My voice came out cracked and unused. Throat dry like a desert. I lost track of how many hours had passed or if it was still the same day. Dr. Love brought a water bottle over, slipped a straw into it and held it to my lips. Drink fast. Begrudgingly, I took a long sip of the water before I set the bottle on the table next to the bed. Answer my question. They contacted the last person to call you after your accident. The person happened to be me. You called? Curious why you didn't show up to our session and intent on asking if you wanted to reschedule or cancel it. Why didn't you just say you were only an acquaintance? They couldn't get into your phone to call any of your relatives. As someone who at least knew you on a professional level, I wanted to extend my support. There were no relatives to get in touch with. I'd been separated from them for years. The only people I had in this world were Grandma and Marlo. Did they tell you what the hell happened? You were attacked and involved in a car crash. Authorities arrested the suspect not long after. Do you not remember the leading actions? No, my head hurts to think. Then it can't be helped. I paid to have your car put into the shop. Why would you do that for me? It's a non-issue to me. You're unconscious and no one was available to ensure that you were taken care of. I simply offered the aid you didn't have. It was more like flaunting your wealth if you ask me. Shut up, Melrose. I'd be willing to ask if you want my wealth, but I, like any other human, need money to survive, unfortunately. But you're not human. He slowly blinked at me, dragging his fingers through the locks of his long hair. His expression was as blank as it had been the moment he entered the room. I couldn't imagine what he was thinking. We're just gonna reveal it now in our drug-induced haze? That why you ran away the other night? It's not every day you see a person with horns, red eyes, big black wings, an exposed beating heart. Point taken. And yet you're undisturbed by my learning that. My appearance before you is neither here nor there. In the end, the result of my efforts will be the same. Something about the way he both spoke irked and reassured me. As far as I could see, he was a monster. Yet I almost felt like he had little to no intention of harming me. I chalked it up to a muddled and tired brain. So now that you know I'm okay, you heading home? I figured an empty hospital room might feel more comfortable than one shared with a guest. However, I'm prepared to return to my home at any moment should you tell me to leave. I stared at his blank face and rolled my eyes. Dr. Love was a weirdo, confirmed, but I resonated with his words. Being left in a room all alone would leave me with no choice but to sleep the discomfort away. I won't tell you to leave, but you're making me feel indebted with these effortless gestures. Then reschedule your session with me. I looked for any sign of him joking, but he actually wanted me to pay him back this way. Why? As a son, I aim to help you. I want the opportunity to try without you cutting me short, before I can even make an attempt. Oh yeah, I shouldn't be covering Melrose's face either. There we go. What do you want to get out of it? Surely this is more than the average consultation. Answers to quell my curiosity and the satisfaction of finding your soulmate. Nothing more. If you say so. Yeah, if you say so indeed, because this is your route and by the end of it we're gonna be bang-a-langin'. I suppose there's no solid reason for you to believe me, but I will continue to make do with this much. I squinted at him and sighed in frustration. He made it sound so simple, and yet I couldn't believe it was. Dr. Love had an ulterior motive. I just couldn't prove it. Nor was I sure that I wanted any part in it. Give me some time. How much could you possibly need? Want me to terminate it? No, but I imagine this is something you want more than anything, right? I don't trust you. Part of my job is to develop that trust. Of course, you'd have to let me in first. Yeah, I'll let you in, alright, bends over. I'm not letting you into nothing without caution. Fine. I practiced patience with clients for years. I can do so again. Try to get back to me soon, however. I'm not exactly the freest man. With that, there wasn't much else to be said between us anymore. The room fell to the sound of the muffled TV and what I assumed was the heater. Quiet as it was, his presence did not disturb me. In fact, it was almost as if he wasn't there. The man known as Dr. Love only stared at the TV through lazy eyes. Oh, he's so pretty. Hi, doctor. I want to poke him. I wonder what size bra he wears. Tired seemed too simple a word to describe the way he slumped in his chair. Was he even comfortable? Soon his eyes closed and his glasses dangled on the bridge of his nose. I heard it wasn't good to sleep with glasses on, but did that really matter to him? He wasn't human after all. I tried getting his attention, but it was absolutely futile. Dr. Love was out cold. A heavy sleeper, but no peep left him. Not a single snore. If I squinted hard enough, I could see that he was at least still breathing. Jeez. I decided it wasn't necessary to get him to remove his glasses. His eyesight was his own issue to tackle, and not for my exhaustion returning, I'd have kept watching him. Still, I haven't figured out why his appearance kept changing in front of me when I least expected it. If I had asked him, he'd probably feign ignorance. My eyes slowly closed, and I felt my consciousness drain back into a gentle darkness. Love Life Studio, 2 p.m. Dr. Love's point of view. It occurred to me that maybe my prior actions had struck fear into Mr. Figueroa, but for him to have seen my true form is another thing. Come to think of it, he brought attention to my heart the first time we met as well. Of course, the second time he'd only panicked after he signed the papers. He was holding the pen then. Time before that, if I remember correctly, the pen had been in his jacket pocket. Undoubtedly. It is the fountain pen. I took a sip of my coffee, which had gone cold after hours of sitting unattended. After my last consultation, I'd been reviewing the documents that he signed. It would be a pain if he didn't come back. No, it'd be good if he didn't come back. Perfect even. However, I am no fool in my ways. Never in my years did I think I would run across another one again. Thought I'd solidified my resolve, but alas, I'm still the being I was centuries ago. Knock knock. You may enter. The door is unlocked. I briefly thought a client was coming in, but then I was surprised to see a dainty young lady with a sea of golden locks and determined blue eyes enter the room. A young lady I was more than well acquainted with at this point. Theme. If it isn't my favorite lovely Cupid of all time. You're saying this as if you aren't the one who entered my office. Well, it is you. I've been looking for you. And I suppose the perfect place is your office. This is not the most profound discovery you could make, Lady Fame. Probably not, but word on the street is what I live by. And it said you would be in your office at this given time. That is no rumor, it is simply fact. Fame is the goddess of rumors. She acts to tack intellect onto the end to make it sound more professional. However, it does no wonders once she opens her mouth. It is often a sea of gossip. Even so, she has a way with persuasion and intrigue. On various occasions, I found myself on the beneficial side of a rumor mill. There are truths and lies, but Fame, being the goddess of it all, has an easier time making the difference. As to whether she cares to spread the correct and truthful information depends on her mood. Equally as delicious as when it's not. May I ask what brings your company? The usual, you know. I've got intel. Rumors. Intelligible evidence. Rumors. Digestible news. Changing the name, unfortunately, does not change what it is, Lady Fame. She flipped my bangs with a slight air of annoyance, then took a seat on top of my desk. Anyway, I heard many things today. You're bound to hear something about one of your clients. Is there anyone you want to hear about? I pretended to pause and practice a form of self-restraint, but I knew exactly what I wanted. and fame was an efficient god for her talent. Yes, I do. I've had the pleasure of hearing details about a man named Melrose Figueroa. Now I'm in an apartment, Melrose's point of view. The last 2 weeks have been difficult to manage with one arm. I was told to spend most of it resting until the sprain recovered, but being the only one in the apartment wasn't as favorable anymore. The landlady's son wasn't all that excited to share their precious time with me. Not that I wanted to be a part of their endeavors anyway. The loneliness just seemed to permeate the more I was aware of it, that's all. So when I shouldn't have been wandering around and making money, I still tried. Lifting things was a pain, and certain customers weren't very sympathetic to it. Even a doctor had given me a smaller tip due to disobeying my recommended treatment. As far as I was concerned, my actions were my consequences here. So everyone should mind their own. Love Life Studio will have a collaboration with your local eateries called Love Tracks. I changed the radio station. He's everywhere. When I woke the next morning in the hospital, he'd surprisingly stayed, just so he could tell me he was leaving. Since then I hadn't spoken to him, nor had I approached him for the forecasting. And yet he was everywhere. Either Casimir City is too small, or I just never noticed until the two of us became acquainted. He was apparently a regular patron of Petal Latte. I caught him strolling through the park once. Almost ran into him at the mall. We even caught the same bus. I'd have lost my mind if I'd seen him at the Solar. But I've been avoiding that area since the incident. Still don't care enough to check in. Hendy definitely heard the news about me. In fact, the crash didn't even happen for more than a minute after peeling off from the curb. Hell, he could have witnessed Asher do it, but he hasn't said or sent anything to me. The barkeep and Clive at least sent texts and emails as an apology, although it happened off the premises. It really wasn't their problem, but I accepted their gesture. Unless they knew something that I didn't. Regardless, I was steering clear of going there to kill time. I couldn't even draw. I pulled out my phone to find Marlo calling me. What's up? Checking up on you. Grandma told me you sprained your arm in that incident. You totally left that part out of the text. I thought you were okay. I'm still in one piece, so technically I'm okay. Better not be working. Don't worry, I worked yesterday. May! I burst into laughter over her endearing and stern motherly tone. I remember the first time she called me May. A derivative of the word May because we met then. But originally she had the bizarre thought that the L in my name was an I. No matter how much we went over it, I couldn't understand where she'd gotten it from. Mel was the common, more appropriate nickname. But wanting to be different, she stuck to May. At first it was annoying, now it's special. Anyway, I'm glad you're okay for the most part. Okay as one can be in an empty apartment. You're totally fine and you know it. Ugh. Are you still looking to date someone? I thought about my arrangement with Dr. Love and frowned. Andy apologized to me 2 weeks ago, but I haven't heard from him since then. And he's in the equation why? Mate, I thought we were kicking Toxic out and not inviting it back in. Was he really that toxic? Was he? Hello? Anyway, I'm thinking about something. It doesn't involve getting back with him, so pull your panties out of your ass. Thank you, sir. Panties comfortably arranged. You know, if I were Esmond, that'd be weird to hear randomly out of context. Don't worry, he's been here the whole time. Hey, Melrose. God, I could have said something cursed to hell and he'd have heard it. Ma warned me when I'm on speaker. Or Esmond could stop being shy and say hello sooner, but we'll do. Knowing Esmond was around kind of changed the flow of the conversation. But it was nice to hear her voice and that she was happy. I really missed having her here. Being without her was harder than I thought. Hickey's grocery store, 8 PM. I gave myself a third week of resting in hopes my neglect would go without strenuous effect. With the food running low and my arm gradually feeling better, I figured grocery shopping for myself wouldn't be too bad as long as I got enough to carry in one hand. Need milk. I seldom visited the market this late, but I needed some items that could also be prepped tonight. Too many ingredients and not enough actual food. Rounding the corner to head to the dairy aisle, I ran smack into another person with my cart. Oh, crap, I'm sorry. Which way you're going? Damn it, not this guy again! I hate this guy. The two of us stood staring at each other for a minute before I pushed past him with my cart. Yeah. Morris, wait. No, we are not doing this. Get the hell away from me. I'm hungry, man. I don't have time for this. You could have just ordered out. And waste some money that could go towards groceries instead. Even if you have a point, why come out this late to shop? Because I'm a grown man? He rolled his eyes while trying to keep up with me. Abruptly, his hand latched onto the cart and stopped me in place. I'm getting real sick of you. Let me help you shop. No, piss off. Yeah, go away. You don't call, you don't text after your boyfriend nearly killed me. You end up getting less food if you have to carry it all with one hand. If I help, you can buy more things. I don't understand why you express concern over trivial things, but when I need you most, you aren't present. He seemed to flinch at the tone of my voice, then assumed a more serious position, much like whenever he wanted to scold me or demand authority. Worry about the present. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Just let me help. No! Yeah, go away, I hate you. As we argued, I felt a light bump against the other side of my cart and snapped my head to find a foot. Then I raised my gaze and... Hi, Dr. Love, you're so hot. Oh my god, look at him. Apologies, I need to grab a liter of soda. My heart skipped a beat. then raced like a heart attack was approaching. I didn't expect to run into him here. Dumbass Hendy ruined everything. Sorry. Maybe you're ass Hendy. Oh, right. Hendy stepped aside and allowed Dr. Love to grab a bottle of lime soda. It didn't seem like Dr. Love had any intention of leaving once he grabbed it though. In fact, he continued to stand in front of Hendy, separating him from my cart.
Are you done? I'm looking for another. Carry on.
Hendy's eye twitched at that, and he grabbed the edge of my cart. Simultaneously, Dr. Love leaned against it for support.
Aren't we in your way? No. But from my observation, you are in his way. And perhaps I am too, right, Mr. Figueroa?
Dr. Love lazily turned his head to look at me, wearing an elegant smile despite his disheveled appearance. Can I please just go to the dairy aisle?
Of course.
He let go of the cart, but not without removing Hendy's hand from it with ease. At the same moment, I pushed the cart with Hendy trailing behind it in tow. I quietly continued to shop with him hovering nearby.
You know him?
Most people do if they're into Love Life Studio stuff. At that, Hendy turned his head around to look at Dr. Love, who was still lingering around us with some distance.
Really? He's that guy?
Uh-huh. I reached out to grab a sack of potatoes, which Hendy tried to help me grab. Time passed and I managed to shop enough to fill my fridge, but it was certainly too much to one-hand it all the way back home. When I left for the parking lot, Hendy insisted on taking me home in his car, but
I'm gonna force his acceptance. He said he doesn't want to go home with you. Why are you still even here? There's nothing to do with you.
Dr. Love wouldn't let Hendy put my things in his car. Thank you, Dr. Love. I don't want to go with him either. He stinks and he's stupid. In fact, he had his own car and proposed taking me home himself. It was bizarre to witness the two arguing over this. Honestly, I wanted to just take the whole damn cart and walk home. Despite that, I couldn't shake my curiosity about why Dr. Love was meddling so much. As far as he should know, Hendy could be my lover or something, yet he was trying to defend me as if I needed it. I could handle myself, but I didn't hate that he was interfering. In a way, it felt like the universe was trying to keep Hendy from rekindling things with me. That made things easier. Can you open your trunk? I spoke up to Dr. Love in his spat with Hendy, and with no effort he pressed the button on his keys to allow me just that. Hendy didn't seem to like that.
You're seriously gonna get in his car?
Yeah, because why would I go with you? You suck.
You two aren't even close enough for that yet, right?
No, but apparently you and I were close enough and you should have checked on me after your freaking boyfriend tried to kill me. Yeah, it's good negative influence. Go away.
Hendy, just go home.
Hendy's jaw dropped at that, but I didn't bother to give him any more of my time. Dr. Love helped me put everything into his car and we peeled off rather shortly. Yeah, go to hell. The ride was as quiet as the night at the hospital. Almost. The navigator piped out a line of instructions every other straight or turn that he made. After a while, I felt the need to break the silence. Why did you step in?
Against another man? Well, you didn't appear to find his company pleasant.
He could have been my boyfriend.
Could have. But is he?
I looked down at my arm sling and sighed, shaking my head. Not that he could see it. No, he's not. He was, but not anymore.
I feel as much. I wouldn't have introduced you to consultation if I believed you're in a stable relationship.
Hey, that's rude. Even if he was right. What about you then?
What?
Got a lover? Will she curse me out? Will he chase me with a baseball bat, huh? Who are they? My onslaught of questions made his brow furrow, and he seemed to swallow noticeably. I swallow him noticeably.
I do not have a significant other, nor do I need one.
Well, I'll be damned. You're just as single as me then. How does the radio host of the top dating agency end up being single?
My job is to match people and help them fall in love. It isn't necessary to indulge in it myself.
Or perhaps you just have no game at all and yet you're giving advice to other people.
I suppose I deserve your well-crafted dissing.
He smiled and I found it hard to take my diss seriously. If it bothered him, he wasn't showing it. Have you ever thought about dating?
I have already dated before.
Really? What happened? Surely a matchmaker like yourself didn't have a nasty breakup. Of course. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Dr. Love wasn't well kept, even if he was beautiful. And he could add a little more fluff to his words for some.
The equivalent of being widowed, I guess.
Oh no! Sorry about that. I'm assuming it was with the person he was talking about before? Joking about it when he had a serious reason for being single made the urge to talk feel awkward. Despite that, he didn't change his demeanor at all. If I poked fun at something sensitive, I expected to have someone bursting my eardrums or punching me square between the eyes. Maybe he couldn't afford to do that while driving.
It was a long time ago. It doesn't hurt anymore.
It doesn't hurt anymore. I couldn't shake the feeling that came over me when he said that. It was as if something inside squeezed tightly. Yeah, I'm squeezing him tightly. His words didn't sound real. Funny that I, the potential client, was trying to read into him. It may be foolish, but he sounded robotically rehearsed. Still, I shouldn't have joked about it.
I accept your remorse.
When we arrived at my apartment, I took all the bags out of his trunk and lined them against the wall. It'd be a back and forth trip, but I'd take it if it meant relieving him from the burden of helping me. Yeah, sure, we'll take it alright. Well, and that was ending C. Alright. Unfortunately, because this is a 100% playthrough, we're gonna have to now go with Hendy, even though I don't want to because he sucks. Ugh, he had a point. No, he didn't. Dr. Love and I had only talked a little, so even if I was curious, going with him might not be as good as I want to think. Better than going with Hendy. I hesitated and stood there with the bag.
It's your decision to make in the end, Mr. Figueroa. If I'm imposing, don't feel pressured to take my offer.
I couldn't tell what he was thinking as he said that to me. He kept his blank face. For some reason, I still wanted to.
Come on, Melrose.
Hendy grabbed my arm and lightly tugged it, all the while glaring at Dr. Love. The atmosphere between them felt a lot more tense than when they were just talking at each other. Okay. Yeah, I'll go home with him. No need to trouble you.
It would have been no trouble at all. Be careful on your way home.
Goodbye, Dr. Love. He fixed his lips to say something more, but faltered in a smile and retreated to his car. I watched him close the trunk then peel off as Hendy started loading my things into his back seat. Now that I was alone with Hendy, I wondered if it was truly a good idea to go home with him. I really should keep my distance if I want to move on. Yeah, we shouldn't have gone into the car at all. Hendy sucks. He smells like poop. The drive was uncomfortably quiet, and I could see that Hendy was still pissed, which I couldn't exactly understand why. Did Dr. Love really get under your skin?
Yes, who the hell does he think he is?
Someone hot and you're not?
Trying to flaunt how well off he is or something? He came off so arrogant.
Maybe. I wasn't getting that vibe. At least not then.
So you thought it was okay for him to talk to me like that?
Frankly, yes. Yeah, you deserved it. You deserve worse.
You know what? Whatever. Oh, what are you doing?
I groaned as Hendy drove past the street he needed to turn on to get to my apartment. Instead, he kept going straight and didn't bother to answer me. Hey, I'll have you know, I don't consent to being in here, so this is technically kidnapping. When he finally stopped, we're at his apartment complex. He got out of the car and stared at me expectantly.
What kind of stupid shit are you pulling now? My food needs to be in my refrigerator. If I had taken you home, you wouldn't just chase me off and we wouldn't have gotten to talk.
This is stupid. I would have let you come in or something. You're doing too much.
I'll take you home in the morning. I've got room for the dairy stuff in my fridge.
I sucked my teeth and got out begrudgingly. I should have taken Dr. Love's offer. I probably would have been at home in a blink if I had. Damn it! Now I'm stuck with stupid stinky Hendy. Well, that's Dr. Love's route done. And now it is time for Icardi's. Vitalik did not get an update this time sadly, but we'll see him soon, hopefully.
You know, when I saw Melrose Figueroa was the deliverer, I'd imagine it'd be you.
You are bad news. You're very hot though. There had been the slightest thought that maybe the person had been the one I'd known. I wanted to believe otherwise. The world was small and of course I wasn't so far away that the possibility of seeing him was none. But could my luck really be that shitty? Here's your order. Hey! I shoved the bag and the drink holder forward with a loose grip, forcing him to act fast to ensure that they didn't fall.
Wait, don't be like this.
You are bad news. You are so hot though. Oh, I want him so bad. You made it clear to me how you felt about me years ago.
It was years ago. We were like what? 18, 19?
So, you're giving me the young and dumb story.
It's true. I mean, look at you. Still as gorgeous, if not prettier than the last time we were together.
He gave me a once-over with his eyes and smiled a hefty smile. If you think I'm gonna be flattered after you also labeled me a psychopathic redhead, then you're mistaken.
Holding grudges is attractive.
You're a shitface.
Just come in here. Come hang with me.
It's not gonna be hanging, you know it. You're gonna take me in there and bang-a-lang me. And as much as I want to, I think that's a bad idea. I'm on the clock. Don't have time.
We know you can make time, Mel.
I tensed up at the use of that nickname, clenching my fists. I felt his middle finger extend to brush my wrist. Whoa. With the food still in his grasp, he leaned forward and hovered close to my ear. His breath tickled my face and the smell of tobacco reached my nose. Though I hated it, there was a wash of relief that settled in from the familiarity.
It doesn't have to be long, just some reminiscing.
Why? Come real quick, do you? My earlobe passed through his lip, and his teeth grazed just enough to make me shiver and pinch my eyes closed. This seems like a bad idea. Positive or negative? Let's do positive. For the briefest moment, I felt the rage bubble inside me, and my hand took hold of his throat against my better judgment. Having caught myself, I retracted my hand and stared at his bewildered expression. I didn't mean to do that.
You're always into that kind of kinky stuff, so I'm not surprised. Come here.
Oh no! He quickly placed the delivery onto a table next to the door and grabbed my jacket collar, tugging me inside. It was a swift action, as swift as I remembered it. At first I felt like we were going together, then quickly changed to the claws of hell or something. I wasn't sure how to feel back then, and I still wasn't sure now. You're being hasty.
You said that you had work, so let's keep it quick, yeah?
What the hell? Only someone dumb would think he was being considerate of me. He never kept to his word. Clearly he wanted to use me for as much fun as he could get. No love guided his advances, but chasing a memory of time where I thought there was felt right at the moment. In the end, it didn't really amount to anything. Surprisingly enough, he appeared comfortable sleeping beside me after all these years. Perhaps something changed. Or it didn't. Who honestly knew when it was him of all people? His phone kept vibrating with texts. A hunch had me fully aware of where they were coming from, but I looked through his messages anyway. Honey, you stopped by the hospital today, right? Oh? Oh, I didn't know I had that many tattoos. There's nothing to cherish here. I'm just something to marvel at. Just to look at and admire. To ogle at. But let's not get into that. Damn it, Rohan. Why? Honestly, I expected it from him at this point. Admittedly, it was a lapse in judgment on my part, but that wasn't what irked me. Reading through his messages, he had no qualms about the latest girl he'd been dragging along. In her, I saw myself 10 years ago, tangled in his wild lifestyle filled with alcohol, drugs, and parties and violence. She didn't look like she belonged in his world, and judging by her hospitalized state, it showed, oh, the poor girl. But here he was, rolling around with me instead of checking to see if she was okay. Such is the life of a carefree Rohan. Did the survival mean anything to him? Deja vu. Tiredness settled into my bones as I gazed at the gentle rise and fall of his chest. Funny. I had a single ounce of hope that you changed. I slid the pillow from beneath my head and pushed myself upright. The heartbeat pounded in my ears, gradually growing faster. All of this while your girlfriend is suffering in the hospital. Because of you. Your lifestyle. Am I gonna kill him? But you don't make people choose these things, right? You lead them into the water. Don't make them drink, but you're eager to entice them with it. Rohan shifted onto his back from my whispers, so I quieted myself. I didn't want him to wake up. Not at all. It was better for him to remain dreaming. Whatever brief fantasy he had would be his eternity. The pillow in my hands was merely a cloud, no different from the sweet toxin of tobacco he willfully accepted down his throat. Just like how I willfully accepted him down my throat, huh? Oh, both could very well kill him. I'm very pretty though. Did he keep his gloves on during sex? I couldn't let him continue doing this. If she stayed with him, he'd get her killed or change her life for the worse. Perhaps it wasn't my call to make. But in the quiet of this apartment room, I felt justified in the silence. Initially, there was no resistance. Then perhaps he realized he couldn't breathe for real. His hand desperately swiped and grabbed at whatever they could to no avail. And I watched every second as time took all signs of life away from him, until everything in the room was as still as a frozen frame. I felt nothing. No happiness, no regret, no remorse. I'm a murderer! Just empty. An intense pain interrupted the feeling. A sharp physical stab. So abrupt that it felt like something burst through my chest. What the hell happened? What? No! My vision flooded with red, then faded to black shortly after. I don't understand. I guess this is the consequence of passing judgment that isn't mine to make. Icardi Ending A. What the fuck? What the hell? I didn't even do anything. We'll do negative this time, and then that'll allow us to continue on with the route, I think. Ugh. Disgusted, I shoved him back, rage winding into my clenched fist before I swung it viciously. I expected it to connect with his face, but I found myself struggling to launch forward. Something was holding me back. It wasn't myself. I wanted to let loose. Let's run. Icardi, what are you doing here, breasting boobily in my hallway? Icardi tugged me away from the door and made a break for the staircase. His presence left me so disoriented. Still, I was relieved that he stopped me. Numb in apartments, Melrose's bedroom, 3 p.m. Only time could tell how many hours passed with us huddled up in the corner of my room. Icardi stood pressed against the door, listening for any sound from the other room. Almost like a scene out of a horror film. Except it was ridiculous, and the silence was more annoying than anything else. It's okay now. I don't even think he followed us. Are you sure? I'm sure. It's been hours by now. We heard nothing, so it's fine. But Melly, knock it off already. Icardi flinched before relenting. The action made me feel less agitated, and instead guilty. Sorry.
Who was that guy? I've never seen you so angry.
Somebody that I used to know. Like the song?
An ex-boyfriend.
Why are you assuming that?
Well, he, did that thing to your ear. And the way you responded was a little...
So he saw that. But he didn't mention what we said beforehand. Perhaps he didn't hear it. Rohan. He was someone I used to date years ago.
Was he mean to you? Is that why you broke up?
Sometimes people just drift apart. I feigned nonchalance. It wasn't something Icardi needed to know. Not something I felt like talking about either. I changed the topic to something brighter. That's what Icardi needed to hear. Love has its ups and downs, but the good memories leave me feeling fond.
Your good memories? What were they like?
He perked up and I felt a sense of triumph at his mood change. I'm sure you witnessed things from your pairs when you observe them. When they huddle up together and talk about things. My fondest memory involved talking about any and everything. Moments where I could unzip and expose the insides of myself, both figuratively and literally. Icardi looked utterly confused, rubbing a hand behind his neck as if I'd unearthed some uncomfortable secret.
Humans can unzip their skin?
No, but I can take off my clothes. Oh, what? Why are you so surprised? As if you're not like, you know, basically exposed? Why would you get shy about that? Isn't it part of the things you witness your pairs doing?
No, They deserve their privacy in those moments.
So you're not curious about how humans do that?
It's not like I don't know how it works,
I burst into laughter as his face grew several shades redder.
Are you sure you're not some bully, Melly?
Dunno. I think you're just cute and innocent-minded. Oh wow, I'm gonna bounce on it silly style at some point in this, aren't I? Have you ever thought of experiencing it yourself? Sex? I guess, but I mean a relationship. Dating. He seemed to curl in on himself, embarrassed about the topic. I didn't feel a lick of remorse in that regard. I didn't feel a lick at all, actually. Icardi, hurry up. Cupid, my job is to... Did you think about it or not? Yeah, but my job is to help humans fall in love. So, have you ever gotten hot thinking about a crush? Better yet, do you currently have one? You're a bully. This topic is really, really inappropriate to be having with me. Why? I walked closer to him, boxing him into the corner beside my door. Melly! I haven't done anything. You're getting closer and your voice. What about my voice? Don't talk to me like that. Icardi grabbed my arms, forcibly putting distance between us, his face coloring in a complete mess of red. If I went any further with the attempt, I wasn't sure if he'd simply die or explode. He's so cute. Your grip hurts. In a sexy way. Sorry. He let go and avoided looking at me. I suppose I may have teased him a bit too much. It'd be cool if we could trade places for a day. Trade places? I took a seat on my bed and pulled out the fountain pen, twirling it between my fingertips. You could be a human and I could be a Cupid. Why would you want to be a Cupidine? I've always wanted to know what it felt like to have a bow in my hand. A bow that could kill him. Eros. I had no arrow, but my fountain pen might suffice as a replacement. It held the shard of his arrow, which begged the question whether it could kill him, even without his bow. Oh, humans have archers, don't they? I'm sure you could find a bow that way. You know I mean a Cupid's bow and not some flimsy human-made one. I suppose that makes more sense. His lips wearied and his gaze averted. Sizing him up, I decided to ask the question. Could I touch yours? And not just your bow, I meant everything else. You can't. Why not? Scared I'll break it? Humans can't touch our bows under any circumstances. You don't trust me? I do, of course I do. Hey, no, let's not manipulate this poor boy. The humans can't touch our bows. Why? So I'm like every other human to you is what you're saying. Mel! It's a rule you can't touch it, even if I wouldn't mind it. But it's me asking. I don't have to know, it can be a secret. Melly. You can trust and go out of your way for me with everything else, but this one... Melrose. Not Melly anymore. I cannot let you touch my bow. Please respect that. I scoffed in disbelief at his ironclad resolve. I was so sure that he'd let me at least put a finger on it if he didn't let me hold it, but Icardi was stern about it. So direct that it was pissing me off. Asking to place a finger on your bow is disrespecting you. That's not what I meant. I don't want to argue with you. It's not an argument, it's a discussion. Mel, you're being a dick. Well, it isn't up for discussion, Melrose. The pang in my chest was unexplainable and my fist clenched tightly. It wasn't out of nowhere for him to tell me no. But the fact that he did was more frustrating than the logic behind it. Then get out. It doesn't have to. Don't worry. There is no argument. There is no discussion. Get out. Mel! I disapprove of this action. I feel bad. With a downcast expression, he stepped back and faced my wall without another word. Even that irritated me. How could he say no? Why now? And why not? It made perfect sense for him to say no. If he couldn't, then he couldn't, but shit. I rubbed my chest and gritted my teeth. Damn it. Why did I react that way? That was uncalled for and mean. Poor Icardi. Let's be a matching pool. Icardi's point of view. I couldn't stop thinking about Melly. The thought of actually hurting his feelings was sickening. It must have meant so much to him to touch my bow. I could understand that feeling, but I couldn't allow it. There's no guarantee what would happen to me or him if he was exposed to it for a second too long. Cupidine were absolutely forbidden to let humans hold or use their bows. Maybe because of abuse of privilege or being taken advantage of, I wasn't so sure. That didn't mean my trust for Melly was fake. He's my friend, and I trust my judgment of him. Oh, he's angry with me. He wouldn't want to see me for a while, but I figured I could at least find out who his partner was. If I came back with a well-developed plan to help him find them, then maybe he'd be less upset when I visited him again. Is what I hoped anyway. Hey, yes? I've been trying to get your attention for the past few minutes. I'm busy. What? I said I'm busy. Have you lost your mind? He raised a hand ready to smack me. The other Cupidines began whispering, drawing his attention to them. Shut up, go about your duties. Why are you being so mean? You should do yours too. Are you talking back to me? I don't know what your problem is, Yuri, but you've been awfully meddlesome for you to be working. Before he could say anything back to me, the older Cupidine joined us. What's happening over here? I was gonna tell him not to take on extra tasks today because the new Cupidines needed some and he flipped at me. I don't have any intention of taking on extra work today, so mind your business. Listen to him, this is crazy. You should have seen this coming, stop nagging the newbie so much. I'm his superior, why are you lecturing me? Because you're being a dick. Because I'm the superior of both of you and I can tell you're causing him stress. He smacked the other on top of the head, earning a grumble from him. Then he turned to face me with a stern expression. Although he's being a hassle, remember to stay in your place. It is a rule that Cupidine must always obey their superior and now apologize to him. I didn't want to. Why should I? I did nothing wrong. You didn't. Icardi, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Better not. I'll be having a meeting with the Foundation. Oh, fuck you. Leave him alone. Come now. Oh, my wing. Yeah, rip it off, you stupid chicken. The elder Cupid dragged him away and left me standing in the center of the hall. The others around returned to their work. I hurried over to the empty side of the pool, determined to complete my task whether any of the others came to interrupt me or not. I've been holding off on finding this out for too long. After disappointing him, all I wanted was to make Melly happy. I leaned over the edge of the pool and dipped his name into it. What? A bright flash of light flared through the room, blinding everyone in the area. I quickly took his name back out and held it to my chest. Some of the Cupid questioned each other, confused about what just happened. I had to go. While they were distracted, I tightly clutched his name in my palms as I fled the area. What the hell? Melrose's point of view. I wonder if we ever get to date Eros. Now I'm in apartments, 12 AM, Melrose's POV. It's Valentine's Day. I just returned from a night of drinking at Solar, fully intent on getting wasted until morning. The idea lost its value once I was there. My mood was so abysmal that I only drank ginger ale and watched the television. I typically dance and party with whoever I could mingle with, but going days without talking to Icardi made me feel hollow. Getting closer to Eros meant talking to him, but this whole drought made it difficult. His twinkling eyes and hearty laugh. His face when I told him to get out. He messed up again. Apologizing wouldn't even be easy. It wasn't like I could pray again and summon him. Mel. Oh no, not you again. You're so pretty though. What the hell do you want? Whoa, someone put you in a bad mood tonight. Just not my night. Don't talk to me. He grabbed my wrist as I aimed for the staircase and pulled me back. You're antsy about something. What's the matter? Good job realizing the obvious. I'm saying I usually knew how to handle that, right? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. He's so hot, but I should absolutely say no. Positive or negative? Let's do positive first. You did. Perhaps I still do. It's Valentine's Day now. That hardly matters given we aren't together. He laughed and pulled me to the restrooms near the lobby area. For someone proposing something on the basis that it's Valentine's Day, spending it in a restroom stall was the most unromantic thing he could do. Was that ending B already? No! I want to see what happens. I want to bang a lang him right now. Oh well, back here, let's go with negative. I don't want to. It's the morning of Valentine's Day. Unless you want me to kick your ass, it would be in your best interest to let me go. His hold lingered for a moment, then he dropped his hand and turned to walk down the hall. You're always shoved up the butt about something, huh? Come talk to me if you change your mind. I rolled my eyes and began up the stairs, stopping mid-step when my eyes locked with Icardi's. He appeared hesitant but cracked a very small wry smile at me regardless. I continued up the stairs towards him and he pulled me into his arms. Oh, he's so cute! Look at us! His hold was tight and warm, reminding me of just how cold the night had been despite my boiling temper. That Rohan guy seems to want you back. We don't have to talk about him. Melly. I looked up at him as he continued to hold me. His hands drew up to hold my face and an apologetic smile graced his lips. Why do your relationships end? My heart jumped at the question. It wasn't anything I expected. I was worried about him. Man, that was great. Oh god, I love this. I'm so excited for the next chapter. This is so good. Man, that was all of the endings of chapter 2 of To Kill Eros. I love that. I can't wait for Vitali's chapter. I think it's going to be so good. But yeah, this is definitely one of the games that I really enjoy. Because last time I played it, I spoke about how much I enjoyed the artist's art, and then I was so entertained by their writing and just like their whole design of this game. It's really good. I really enjoyed the major change here, which was having just the positive and negative influence with its own like separate UI screen, and also not knowing whether positive is truly positive or whether negative is truly negative, I think is like really good, because it gives like a lot of replayability in a sense of like, I guess like instinct that you need to have in this game in order to play it. And I think it almost kind of reminds me a little bit in a way of Slow Damage, how with a lot of the choices, sometimes your outcome is determined by how well you perform in the minigame that you do with the hourglass, and this gave really similar vibes that I really enjoyed. I think Dr. Love's route is really interesting because Hendy seems to be quite involved in that one, so I think it's going to be a lot of drama with that, and I'm excited to see how that pans out, especially because Dr. Love is apparently widowed. But he also mentioned that in all his years, he never thought that he would meet another one. So maybe like he sees us as someone similar to his widow. And yeah, I'm keen to see what happens from there. Icardi's route is also very interesting. I think Icardi has a lot of stakes given that he is a lower class Cupid without much freedom and has to respond to a lot of orders. But he's taking a massive risk here, first by waiting for our name specifically, and then also conflicting with his duties to try and help us as much as he can. And eventually he's going to fall for us, so I think something is really messy is gonna happen there, and I'm super duper happy to see what happens. But yeah, I do miss Vitaly this time because he was so hot, but I know without a doubt that it'll be updated soon, and then I will play it immediately because I love this game so much. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you guys did enjoy this game, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part of this wonderful series. Also check out the game yourself, leave a lovely comment and a review for the dev to support them because they absolutely deserve it. Doki is amazing and works super duper hard on this. Link is in the description box below. And also, if you'd like to support my channel, feel free to check out my Patreon, which is also linked below as well. Supporting monetarily is not mandatory, just very appreciated. But thank you so much again, and until next time, take care.